Hi, I'm your host, Oraldo, for It's Tejano Time,
And I'm Nemo with Tejano USA.
and you're listening and watching Tejano Talk. Hey, Nemo, did you have a nice little break?
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we had to cancel the show. Did I tell you why? Well,
You,
last
you,
week?
you, you did.
Okay. Well, for everybody to know,
Yeah.
I suffer from kidney stones. And that's all I'm going to talk about because I will talk the entire show. And I don't want to because I want our guest, Art, formerly from Grupo Vida and from the Art Tigerina band and
Wow, you did
Jukebox
good.
Preachers. All right. So I'm looking forward to before we do that, okay? Everybody, you know what
Blah,
to
blah,
do.
blah.
Blah blah
Blah,
blah.
blah, blah.
Subscribe. I know Nemo hates doing this, but
Blah,
we need
blah, blah.
subscribers. Okay. As soon as we get 1,000, Nemo is gonna do some extra stuff on this show, and I need
I
all the
love
help I can
that.
get. All right, subscribe, ring the bell, get notification. If you want to get a hold of me, please contact me at it's Time at gmail.com. No use trying to get a hold of him, okay? All right. I'm excited because our guest Art. I've been a fan for a long time. Even though I was gone for 20 years, I've been a fan. And I saw, whoops, I'm sorry, I forgot to transition. I saw him at Fanfare this year in San Antonio, and I got some good footage. And I'm looking forward for you to see it, Nemo. All right.
Thank you.
So, okay, further ado, let's get our guest on, Art Tejano. All right.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? We're good. How y'all doing, man? Good. Good to see you guys.
Good.
Yeah.
Except I'm still have pain my from the
Not,
kidney
not
stones.
important. Not important.
Yeah, don't get me
Yeah.
started. Don't
Yeah.
get me
Yeah,
started.
that I like I said, I couldn't even imagine. I've been around. Like I said, I've been around some people that have hit it, and they're just like, it's just like
It's
a crazy
bad.
pain. I'm
Yeah.
just always afraid of that. So
Has
It's
hopefully,
your
your
diet. It's your diet. I mean, you drink
yeah,
some
that's
crappy
probably so.
stuff, you're going to get that stuff. So
Yeah, I used to drink tea. I still drink tea,
you
but
need
I didn't
water.
drink a lot of water. Okay. But we're
Water.
not here to talk about my kidney
I
stones
know,
and stuff
right?
like that. Hey, Art. So what? Like I said earlier, I have some footage of you back in from Fanfare, but I also have some footage. Well, you know what? Let's talk about your music first, and then I'll show you some
Yeah, for sure,
video
man.
footage.
For
Okay.
sure.
So
Uh,
wait, let's talk about that look. I mean, what's going on there? Where's that big
oh
old
yeah,
beard?
what happened to the
Yeah,
beard?
Well, you
that's what I
know,
was waiting for. I said, last week we were on the show. I said, I'm gonna let my beard grow out. I only got like 3 hairs, and that was it. Like this part right here doesn't grow, and all this part just looks horrible. But yeah, so I was expecting a big bushy art, man. What's going on?
well, I went through this little kind of transition but sometimes you just got to kind of reset,
Yeah.
yourself. You start, things are kind of going the same, not in a monotonous type of way, but just you want to try to find something to kind of reset yourself and kind of
Okay,
refocus. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to shave, and there was a lot of beards and that are just popping. It became a trend, it
Yeah.
became
it
a
is a
trend.
trend.
I'm not a very trendy guy. I don't. I kind of,
You set
once
the
I,
trends. You set the trends.
I set
Yeah.
the trends, and then I
It
just get
looks
out.
good on you. I
So,
know some
so,
artists out there that dye the hell out of
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
probably so.
Oh,
I'm
that
not going to
spray
talk it.
paint where it just goes
Yeah,
like this.
spray paint. He
Yeah,
does
Yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah. I
but
was thinking of
what?
that too, but
it
Yeah,
starts dripping
that's
off. But yeah, no,
yeah.
I just, and it was, and we're about to go on a cruise that summer. It was a summertime, and man, that was,
Oh yeah,
and I had it for a long time, and I was like, man, this is great. So I just
yeah.
kind of leave the scruffy look a little bit, and who knows, maybe I'll bring it back one day. But once it's not a trend anymore, and it's just in different genres, country music and Tejano music. A few guys got beards now, and it's just
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm not
it's,
gonna be.
it's better for the winter anyway, right?
yeah.
The
Yes,
beard.
yeah,
Did
for sure.
did your dogs recognize you when you cut it all off? I
Uh,
mean, well,
They,
cut
they,
my.
they, yeah, they did. My wife was really mad at me. She wouldn't talk to me for about
Oh,
2 days.
Oh really?
No, she
Okay.
was
Well,
just.
she's your manager, so she says, the look. You're losing the look because all your logos
Yeah,
and,
it was
and
kind of
stuff like
it was kind of a branding thing,
yeah,
and it was
branding.
and a lot of people were just kind of they kind of went from where's art at, like, well, I'm playing this. I did as a matter of fact, that's that same day that I shaved it. I had a show, so I do acoustic shows here and there, some country stuff, and we showed up at a I set up to set up. And some people walked in and they were like, "Hey, is Art playing here later?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "He'll be here later on." I said, "I'm his twin brother, but he'll be here later." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
oh,
Yeah.
So he'll be like,
I,
yeah. So
that's
I
crazy.
was I was gonna introduce you and then play that joke and say, "Hey, I thought we were gonna have Art. Are you his twin brother? But
Right, for
I
sure,
wasn't.
man.
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
do
I
that,
mean, if he
but
was like clean shaven, maybe, but he still's got the beard there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and my wife was mad. I said, "That's the way you saw you met me when I was like clean shaven, had a little goatee,
yeah,
whatever."
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank
But
you.
we have a lot in common. Okay,
Oh
and we'll get
boy,
to that later.
he's
But
reaching.
you
He's
know,
reaching.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
hair and stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
my lack of hair right there.
Wow, you're reaching.
When my wife wanted me to try to grow it out because I shaved it. It happened by an accident because I had a bad haircut and I just shaved it all off and I go, damn, I still look good. So I just kept it. I kept shaving it, and I finally realized like 6 months ago, I am getting bald like
Yeah.
that. Before I said selectively shaved, but
I, I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna get those plugs, and I'm gonna grow my hair out again, so I
hey,
can look
That would
like
look cool.
I
Cosby.
think everybody who shaves their head has thought about that one time or the other.
Yeah, you know, we did the same thing. Same thing. You know, I would just kind of wear a cap, and I never, you know, for a long time, said one day I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna shave my head off
Oh
and
yeah,
my hair off, and then I came out on stage, and people were like, "Wow, it's another shell shock there for people." They were like, "What the heck's wrong with this guy? He's
Yeah,
crazy."
Michael Jordan made it cool though, so you're
Oh
yeah,
good.
he
yeah,
You're
for
good
did.
to
sure,
go.
for
Yes.
sure,
No, you're good to
for
go.
sure.
But it saved me like 45 minutes to an hour every morning because I used to mousse it, blow dry it, shape it, wax it, all that. And every time I mirror, I just went because I had a flat top back in the day. And so yeah,
That's
it's a big time saver, and I save money. I
Yeah,
don't
for
have to
sure.
buy a lot of
I
shampoo.
use that little shaver that looks like a
nice. I've seen those.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've
It
got
works
that.
great. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I'm
All
man,
right.
Yes.
it's like a game changer. I used to have to do it in the shower, and I'd be like, man, I don't want to shave, and now it's just like, let's go.
Yeah. You know what? When I first started shaving my head,
Is that
I did.
about you? Is that
Wait,
about
wait,
you?
wait, wait,
Is
wait.
that
I
about
don't
you?
know.
Yeah.
Maybe
See, it's
I
all about
asked.
him.
I
Let's
asked
just go. Let's.
every black bald guy that I met.
Oh
I
my
said,
goodness.
by, by the way, I said, how do you shave your head? What do you use? Because like, what razor do you use? A Mach 3, or I guess you don't use electric, right?
No, I just use the electric deal now.
Okay.
I don't even shave. I mean, I just use that, and
Yeah,
it
I
works
like it
great.
tight, so I use a Mach 3. But and then they would tell me so and so, and one guy said baby oil, and then I
Was he
tried.
P Diddy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Did
this
it?
is
I,
15
I,
years
You know,
ago,
I'd be
dude.
careful with it.
I got
Be
a few
careful.
bottles for you. Here you go, buddy.
Oh, yeah. But it worked great, and I found out girls use baby oil to shave their legs and stuff like that. The only thing I didn't like was the smell. It smelled like talcum powder or something like that. But it worked great. Like
I
okay,
might try that one day. Who knows?
well maybe
I got a big old knot on my head. I hit my head earlier. I was doing some leaf blowing, and I was looking down and wasn't paying
What?
attention. I
yeah,
wasn't paying attention to where I was going. And I ran into a pole. Man,
yeah,
that was
Ouch.
and then I jarred me, almost knocked me out. I was like, "Ooh!"
yeah,
Oh
Like
wow.
I had a cap on, so I didn't. It's not too bad.
And that's with the cap on.
There was a cap
yeah.
Can you
on.
imagine?
So you
Wow.
Yeah,
busted your head bad because
yeah, but I'm kind of used to. I was a mechanic for a long time. And so I worked
hitting the
underneath
car.
the cars, and I'd always get in the same spots. I showed up to work with a skateboard helmet one day, and the guys were like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm not hitting my head anymore or
So
breaking
this
it."
I,
was before Vida or during Vida?
During Vida, I've always, I've worked on cars all my life, and
yeah.
I just have a passion for them, and so I mean, I always held down a job while we were doing music, so just burning the candle at both ends all the time. It's going and and coming back, going to work, and then getting ready for the weekend and going to play, but I enjoyed it. So
So what kind of toy do you have?
I don't right now. What
What?
kind of toy? You said a car, like
Yeah,
toy?
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't.
was,
I recently had a '66 Beetle that I was building,
okay, a
and I
Beetle.
just that was probably my last one, and I just didn't have time for it, And so, but I do
Uh,
love cars
So
now. I'm
German
like,
cars, huh?
yeah, I love cars,
Okay.
and
okay.
so
Now you got okay. Like I said, I talked to your wife, and she said, "Could you talk about the music a bit?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I'm going to talk
Oh
about
wow.
the music." All right, because I do a lot of. I'm the research guy. Nemo comes in
Blah blah
fresh.
blah.
Well, yeah, blah blah blah. Okay, he calls me creeper or stalker because I do research.
Because he's
But,
always yeah.
You're like, how did
yeah,
you know that?
yeah. I disguise it. See, I do the research right
There
here.
you go.
Okay, and God, lost my train of thought.
Well, let's talk about the jukebox preachers. Well, I mean,
Okay, wait.
that's
You've got some.
concerning you.
You're gonna have a new album out this year, right?
I've been trying to, and it's kind of different now, because of because of digital platforms.
Right.
Before it was like, oh, hey, we're going to record 10 songs, then we're going to release a CD, and
Right.
then and now it's different. Now it's like, okay, and which is good because now you don't have to go and record 10 songs and then you send them out and they only play like one or two. Back in
Oh
the day,
yeah.
now you record a song and you send it out and it gets played, and then once it starts dying down, you send another one, and I mean, you just make sure that you get your music out there, and but we will do eventually because there are still some OGs that like the
Yeah,
physical
yeah.
copy.
Oh yeah.
They're like, hey, I want a physical copy. You don't have a copy of your CD, so we're going to do that. We're working on doing that, and then on both ends, doing jukebox preachers and the Tigerina band. So,
Yeah.
but I have a great bunch of guys, talented musicians, and so we're just going to keep it rocking the way we've been going. So try not to slow down.
Yeah. So this new album, is it going to be like half and half, country or a mix, or is it just going to be a pure Tejano or a pure country or what?
It's gonna be all pretty much all Tejano.
Okay.
And so we're trying to kind of keep the jukebox preachers all country,
Okay.
even though that when we do an ATB show, we do put country in there.
Yeah.
But we want people to enjoy because they're gonna that way it's kind of a good selling point too. If you like the country stuff, you'll be forced to buy our country stuff instead of just buying it all in one album.
Oh yeah.
So, but we're just going to kind of because there's some people that don't like country. They're like, oh, I don't want country, and I don't want country in my Tejano stuff. So,
Yeah, it's
and
Oh
we respect that, and we respect that. There's people and a lot of people are like, hey, I come to see your show, and I love the country music, but I love the Tejano more. So that's
yeah.
fine.
I heard a story that Grupo Vida opened up for the Dixie Chicks.
nah,
Yeah,
no, it
Yeah.
was you, right? It wasn't
yeah,
on
it
Tigerina.
was, yeah,
Was
it
it
was
Grupo
it
Vida?
was it was Grupo Vida. Yeah, it was Grupo
Okay,
Vida
I
back
thought it was
in.
you.
You were
It
the
was
lead singer,
I,
right?
I was the lead singer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
And
so
so, and then the story goes that the Dixie Chicks decided to sit in the front row and listen to you guys perform. And
well
They
go
saw
the
ahead.
you. That's
Tell
how
us.
they saw you, right? I mean, they saw you and they liked you and stuff, and they
Oh, wait,
brought you
wait. Let
in.
him tell the story. Let him tell the
yeah,
story.
so they came and checked out one of our shows one day at Rosedale Park. They had got some information to come check out the show, and at that time they were getting ready to do the Fly tour, and they were just looking at a diversity of some type of different music. So they really enjoyed it, and so once we started doing the show with them, it was really nerve wracking the first show because we're like, okay, well, we're going to go out there, and we're up in Ames, Iowa, and this is a huge, there's a big show in an arena,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, we're going to do our sound check, and then I was sick, so I was like, man, this is going to be a
Oh,
tough
man.
show.
Hmm.
So, but I was like, okay, well, the people don't, 'cause it was like, okay, there's no Tejano up here, so if they don't like the music, we'll just switch it. We'll start, we're pretty fluent in doing country music, so we'll just do some country music. So we did a sound check, and we did a sound check with a country song, and then afterwards we got off, we went backstage, and we talked to the girls back there, and they were like, man, you guys sound great, but we want you just to play Tejano music. We're like, oh, great.
Oh wow, nice.
Oh, they
So
don't
we're
want you
like,
to
That's
step on
cool.
their toes or something.
so they were like, well, they were just trying to show different cultures, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so we got out there and we did our show, and we got the people into it, and we got them throwing gritos and dancing cumbias, and they loved it. The
Yeah.
people loved it, and the band, their band, um, they went to the front, they would check out our show,
Yeah.
and when we would leave, because we still had obligations for quinceañeras or other different shows that we already were contracted to. We'd come back and do those shows, and so we had to get off the tour, and then we'd come back and we'd talk to their musicians, and we became pretty good friends with them, and they were like, man, we love it when you guys come back. They did have some great artists, but they really enjoyed the show. It was a lot of energy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we had a blast. It was something that you could look back and say, I go back, you even go back on the internet and look up Fly Tour, and these shows Grupo Vida, one of the opening bands.
Did y'all play Dallas, right? The State Fair or something?
No, we did a lot of. I think the only shows we did here in Texas was San Antonio. When
Okay.
that we opened up for them, that was like the
Well,
last.
that
Yeah,
open up for okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, but
Y'all play. Then y'all play the State Fair as Grupo Vida then by yourselves.
yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, Grupo Vida. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff with Grupo Vida. We did a lot of stuff, and it was a good time. Those years, it was like 17 years that just flew by.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying we're a lot of we're young kids, but but we were all just super excited to do stuff, and we had a really cool thing. We had a cool vibe, and we just had fun at that time, and people really dug it. So
Y'all were Hellraisers back in the day.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
remember some of the interview. I mean the deals with other bands and stuff. Yeah, it was.
it was fun, man. We had a good time and we had a blast, and it's something that it's a big part of where I'm at now. Because of that, it was, we once I got off the road with them, I was out of the music for about a year, and then we decided, hey, let's just get on the internet. And now, that was starting to really get, Facebook started live streaming started coming out, and
Yeah.
it just took off. It just took off, and thanks to the fans that have always been there, they were like, oh, this is they still didn't know my name. They were like,
Yeah.
hey, this is the guy that used to sing Groupo Vida,
You can't
because
fool us.
yeah, it was never Art Tejirina in Groupo
All right.
Vida or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So,
no, that's true.
so,
Oh
That's true.
yeah.
So what made you leave? What made y'all leave? Or stay?
It just become, after a while, like I said, 17 years of, kind of doing the same thing. It's just like, I wanted to just kind of do a change. I was actually going to retire and I've been doing music since I was, you know, I don't know, in my 20s, and so or before that, started doing country music and I was, and we're just, we're just at a different point of what we wanted to accomplish. And it just kind of was
Okay,
kind of
Yeah.
that's a
doing.
good political
I,
answer. What's the real answer though?
okay.
What's
Wait.
the real?
Okay. I have
That's
a
a political
question
answer.
about this.
That's the real answer. That's the real.
Oh,
It's,
okay, all right.
Okay.
it was and it was, yeah, there were some indifferences if
Yeah.
if that's what you're fishing
I
for.
mean, yeah,
But
no, no.
it,
I
Oh,
mean,
oh, wait.
back
Wait.
then
was,
you kind of heard everything,
it's like
Wait. Wait.
it's like any band that's been around for a long time. You start
Absolutely.
having indifferences and you start thinking different ways, and rather than it becoming an out all out brawl, you just say, hey, you know what, this is it's probably best for me to leave because I used to be
All right.
kind of a hothead back in the day, and I've kind of
No, I
calmed down.
remember those
Yeah.
days. I'm telling you, I remember the
Yeah.
days.
Okay. I have a question about those
Tejano
days.
West or Tejano
Okay.
West, Blue
Oh
West.
yeah, down west.
Well, I've got
Yeah,
some
I
footage of you
remember those
guys
days.
at Desperados, okay, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But before that, when you left, okay, I heard, I do. I'm the research guy, so I do, and I don't know. I want to get my timing right, okay.
Okay.
I heard, okay, was Sonny with the band still before you left or after you left, or
Who?
was Sonny gone already?
Oh,
He,
Sonny.
who's Sonny?
Yeah,
It's Sonny.
exactly. But that
Um,
that
no, no,
that accordion guy.
no. Sonny was part of the
They were
original Grupo
Yeah.
Vida with Eddie Gonzalez.
Right.
He came in after they had. So going back to that, they had another accordion player before Sonny. So Sonny came
Okay.
in with Eddie Gonzalez, and then he stayed throughout most of the years with Grupo Vida. Yeah,
Right.
and then
Okay.
shortly after that, he left.
Yeah,
And
but was he still playing in Groupo Vida when you left?
no, 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 no.
Okay, because that's what because I don't know if everybody knows that, but from what my research I said, Sonny got fired from Grupo Vida. He didn't
Yeah,
just
he got fired.
leave.
Yeah, he didn't get fired. It was over um, a Mother's Day celebration that we were playing at, if I can recall.
Okay.
It was the Mother's Day celebration that he refused to play at, and it's like anything, man. You don't it's a job. It's
it's
the
Right.
at the
subordination.
end of
Yeah,
the day.
Is,
At the end of
was
the day,
his head growing? Like his
people
head?
people have paying money,
Yeah.
and you don't want to work. Well, that's you get fired. It's like
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
You
You
know,
got a
so
job to
Okay.
do.
what happens,
What's
and
that? Is that the needle that broke the camel's back or something like that? It's okay. You're
well,
gone.
probably, yeah. It's just like, hey, man, and it's just
Okay.
and there was already starting to get a lot of conflict in that,
Okay.
and I was noticing that, like, okay, since there was a lot of attention on stage, it's like, okay, I'm doing something, and it just kind of pops in and trying to overtake. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
became
I'll
Yeah.
this
start
competition.
shaking his butt.
It became this
He
competition.
still does that.
It became it became a competition for me, and there again, I'm not into that. If you're
Right.
gonna if you have to try to outdo me in a certain way or a certain fashion, if you're gonna try to outsing me or you're gonna try to outdance me, you can have the stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a step back
All
and make it
right.
happen.
I got a nugget, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because I'm going to concentrate on you. Okay. But there's something I want to talk about that it just gets me. Okay, but okay, like I said, I had the video show back in
Let's
the
show it.
'90s,
Let's show it.
and I've got some footage of you. And unfortunately, the
I'm sure
the,
we
the
all see
guy
this
that
one.
plays the squeeze box is in it. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
all right. So we'll play a little bit just so you see some footage. Now, it's back in the. You see all these VHSs.
here we go.
yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
like
that's back
that?
in those times.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
grainy, and I had some special effects on it that I did on the that we did on the camera. So it's not the best quality, but
Sure.
you could see you and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so here we go. All right.
Hi, we're Groupo Vida, and we'd like to wish everybody out there a Happy New Year here on Tejano Times.
Why did he have the mic?
Uh,
Sorry.
Why did Sonny have the mic?
oh, why do you have the mic? I don't know. I guess they're again.
It's
You
his
know?
fault though. He gave him the mic.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah.
You overlooked art, man. You're horrible.
Yeah.
ahead.
Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of you singing out there because I, the camera guy. Well, I edited and stuff like that. So unfortunately, there's a lot of that fat
That's all
ass
right.
over
That's
there.
all right.
You have good stories from Desperados?
Man, those. I'm trying to think of Desperados. Desperados.
It's, uh,
Is it
Arlington and
They
probably
they had the
'97.
bouncers also. They had
Yeah.
David. They had Jaime.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
those guys.
Was it Diana?
Yeah.
Was
It was
who is
no, I won't tell
the
you.
promoter there? Is a female promoter. I
If
think
you
she
hadn't
passed.
said nothing, yeah, she passed.
That video was very very early in our career.
Yeah.
It was
Matter of fact,
very-
I had just switched. I think
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Switched me,
so
Ana Ramirez.
Anna, yes, that's right.
yeah, yeah. Dallas Fort Worth has always been good. It's always
Yeah.
fun. Every time we would play in Dallas, everywhere we go, it was a good turnout. And some those years are just like some of those are just like a blur. It's just like
Yeah,
I see those videos and I'm like, wow, I don't even remember playing those shows.
Yeah.
And then it got, after a while, it got to where it was like a blur because we were just partying a lot, just having a
Yeah,
good time.
that's
It's like a
exactly
rock
right.
band.
That's
Oh
exactly
yeah.
right.
Hey, you're gonna be performing in DFW in April, right?
Yes,
Southern
next
Junction or
week.
something.
Yes, Southern Junction. We'll be there. Come check
Okay.
it out. If you haven't seen the new show, it's not like that. Of course, I've learned, I've grown away from that, and it's just, but it's a good time.
If you want to perform, yeah.
Yeah.
we do a good music. We have good music. We have it's just it's a good time. So come on, but it's not like anything like that anymore. So a
It's
lot of and I've had people like, hey, can you dance? No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, yeah.
is Frank T your contact over there, or who's booking you?
Yeah, Frank T. Yeah, he's doing
Frank
the
T, yeah.
content. Yeah. And we've been trying to get in there for a while, but
It's
in that
it's a huge place, man. It's an awesome place because it's,
I heard, yeah, I heard.
it's
So
real-
looking
real-
forward to that.
I've never
we-
been there yet. You know what? Maybe I can't promise anything because I'm old and I got a 10-year-old daughter. So, but when are you guys gonna perform? What day?
on the
Friday?
25th. On the 25th.
What day
I
is
don't
that?
know.
next Friday.
Oh, it's a
Friday.
Friday.
Is that next Friday? I think. Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
come
that.
on out at least for a little while. I'm the
Hey.
same way, man. I'm honestly, I'll come home and I still work with, during the day. I'll come home and depending on how my day goes, I'm in the shower, and I just lay down and watch a little TV, and then it's like, hey, just sometimes I'll skip dinner. I was just tired.
Yeah.
You get old and
I
you want to hang out.
You definitely seem to be a more mellow person than you were back in the day.
I
yes.
am.
For
I'll be.
sure, because I remember again. I remember the back in the day we were at the West, and I think the other band, Desperados, was there, and like y'all were like, y'all, anyway. So yeah, but I
Yeah.
remember those
Yeah,
early
who
days.
knows, man? There's been some crazy times, and but yeah, I'm a lot more mellow than I was then. I'm like a watered down whiskey right now. Kind of not, kind of
Yeah.
still potent, but not as much. But I try to slow down and enjoy life, and not let little things bother me too much anymore.
Good for you,
As I
man.
get
Yeah.
Good for
silly.
you.
So,
Well, something's bothering me, but I'll
oh,
bring it up later.
Oh, are you
okay.
All right.
serious? That's just.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's a little nugget for everybody to stick around until the tail
I
end.
mean,
Sure,
and
sure.
then you're gonna bring it up, and it's gonna time to in the show. So what's the point?
Okay, you be my time clock, Nemo. At 7:45, I'll bring it
1:45,
in.
we hit the chats.
Okay, at 7:40 then. Okay,
Oh my
I
goodness! All right.
I want to give Art his due, and I like I said, I've got lots of footage, and you know what? I was impressed with your show, and I hadn't. I was gone from the time industry for 20 years, so
Blah blah
I'm
blah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I remember we
okay.
talked for a little bit about that. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were there. Yeah, yeah,
and
man.
so I I'm reacquainting myself with a lot of artists from back in the day and some new artists, and I really enjoyed your show. And
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
I've got some. I didn't know. Well, back then I don't remember you playing the sax and like that.
Yeah,
Oh
no, I
yeah,
didn't. I didn't.
you did.
We
Was it one
at
of those
one
small
time,
sacks? It was a
at
small
one
sax,
time,
right?
do what?
Was it a small sax? One of the small sax?
No, it's just alto sax. It's
Not the
alto
original.
sax.
Okay.
But we did have during the middle part of we did hire a sax player. Oh,
Okay.
so when we first started, we did have a sax player, and then we kind of changed from that, and then later on we got another sax player. His name was Chris Calvillo, an awesome guy. He was on Sangre para Ti. I think that's the only CD he recorded with us.
Okay.
But he played with Texas Latino. He was phenomenal sax. I don't even consider myself. When people ask me if I'm a sax player, I don't even. I'm like, no, I just play my part. I play
Yeah.
my part. I play the notes, and that's it. I don't consider myself a sax player. I don't consider myself a guitar player. So just to put that out there, people are like, say, because you have people like, oh man, he can't even play.
Yeah.
You're right. I
Oh,
can't.
you're way
I do
better than a lot of other people I know.
yeah,
But
I do my part, and that's just because I'm just being honest. But Chris Calvillo was a phenomenal sax player, and if you listen to our version of Esa Mujer or Dime Cómo Viviré, all those he was. But unfortunately, he passed away shortly after that,
Oh, wow.
um, and that was a tragedy in itself. But he's always there, and every time I play the song, I always think about it. He was a good, super super good people, but he rests in peace.
okay. Well, when did you pick it up? The sax.
I kind of, once in a while I would sit there and I just try to. It was shortly after he passed away that I kind of started try to learn how to play it, kind of because we had a lot of songs that had sax in it,
Yeah.
and you really can't duplicate a good sax. Even though I wasn't good, it probably would have been better with the keyboard in the beginning. But I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, and so I've been at it for a while now, and I don't practice like I should, but.
Good for you.
Well,
Good for you.
since you're the lead vocals, I mean, how do you? You can't sing and play the sax at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure there's.
Like that. So does it get played on the keyboard when it needs to
Oh yeah,
be?
yeah, yeah. Well, no, like when the parts come up, I'll stop singing. I'll play it.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
play
like
Okay.
the
yeah.
parts and come back. Yeah, but
Okay, so you
yeah,
just stretch out the song to put the sax
yeah,
part
yeah.
of
Like
it
when
like
it
that.
comes in, I'll play the sax part and then come back and sing.
Okay.
And that was kind of tricky in itself because just trying to keep up the your breathing or whatever too. So
Right.
sometimes it's hard. It's a tough job because the sax has a wooden reed, and when you're playing somewhere where it's hot outside or if it's cold, it changes the intonation of the instrument.
Oh,
The reed becomes real dry. There's times when I go in to pick it up and we're outside, and I go to play and I don't even play because it's so dry. I don't even nothing comes out.
yeah. Do
But
you have
it's
to
it's a
dip it?
challenge.
Do you dip it in whiskey or something like that?
Whiskey, tequila, yeah.
All right.
So,
That's
so
cool.
you know that you posted. It says, "Because my girl likes the sunshine, but she loves the smell of rain. She'll take a bad day fishing over a million other things. She loves her home life, her family, cheap whiskey, and those dogs. Guess my girl loves the best things after all." Did you write that?
I wrote that. It's a song. It's a
That's a
song. Female
badass.
creatures.
For
It's
for her,
do what?
for her.
For my wife, oh, of course, yeah, of
No,
cour's. She's sitting right here, but I got to say yes.
okay, yeah. All
Of
right.
course.
You know,
I loved it. I said that's so.
no,
That's
it's a good song. It just talks about it. So I was singing the first part, so that kind of so that way it kind of makes sense. So it says, "Some girls love big old diamonds. Some girls need a house on the hill. Big fine cars, a bank full of money, a boat on the lake so they can chill. Some girls need a night on Broadway. A night on the town sure is fine. Five-star dining with champagne and roses. Some girls do, but that's not mine. 'Cause my girl likes the sunshine, but she loves the smell of rain. She'll take a bad day fishing over a million other things. She loves her home life, her family, cheap whiskey, and those dogs. Guess my girl loves the best things after all. So that's good. So I'm
that's
recording that song.
perfection right there, man. That's
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff that I'm recording. I really enjoy writing. It's hard for me to write Tejano music. I don't know. It's difficult for me.
it's
But I
understandable.
get a lot of great country songs that I think they're great and I think they're good. And that we're gonna start laying them down like that one right there. It's called Some Girls.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it'll be out soon, and so that's some good
Yeah,
stuff.
cool. Look forward to it, man.
Yeah.
Badass.
So you written I think a couple songs for your about your wife or for your wife.
For my wife, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So she's a big part of your
She's a
inspiration.
huge inspiration of what I do.
Yeah.
She's of course the manager of the band.
Right.
She keeps there, she keeps us going. It's like because it's difficult. I know a lot of artists out there that are solo artists and they're trying to do it both and you
Yeah. It's
can't
hard.
because it's hard to do and she keeps the ball rolling and so I really appreciate her. Apart from being a wonderful person and just a giving person
Yeah.
I always tell her, I said, man, you sometimes she does stuff. I always tell her, man, you're better than me because the stuff that she does. But, the songs, a lot of the inspiration that I do from because of things she does for me.
Yeah.
So I just pass the buck.
All right. We have a couple things in common. And Nemo, shut up before you say anything. Okay. Your wife's a nurse, right? Or she works in the
Yes.
medical field?
Yes.
Okay. My wife's a nurse. Okay.
Awesome.
Wow.
You, you grew up in Bryan, College Station.
Right.
And I'm an Aggie.
I was going to ask you that. I saw your
Yeah.
ring. I was going to ask you, is that an Aggie ring?
Yes, it's an Aggie ring, class of
That's crazy.
'89. Okay,
That's
so
crazy, man.
I doing my research. I heard that you still walk on campus, go to the MSC, and
Yeah.
play pool, ping pong, whatever, eat and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What years did you do that? We might have
That
crossed
was
paths.
well, that was not, that was probably
I was there during the Jackie Sherrill years.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I grew up there, so I was in high school age, so that was when you're in high school, you're the same age as the students going there, pretty
yeah.
much. So that was 84, 85.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah,
there. I
yeah, that's
graduated in
crazy, man.
'89. Yeah,
That's crazy.
definitely.
We just go. Maybe we saw. Yeah,
He was he's a guy that
yeah.
looked like Ricky Martin, apparently.
Do what?
And you know what? I okay. You're there's okay. Were you born and raised in Bryan?
Yes. Born and
Okay,
raised.
so you tell a story about your influence in country music that your mom used to take you to work,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's one of the, and a lot of stuff that I say is because it kind of ties the whole reasoning why I do things,
Yeah.
it gives the people an insight of what I'm talking about. So when I grew up, my mom was a waitress at a truck stop, and it was just
Okay.
called the truck stop.
Okay, I was
Um,
going to ask you what's the name of the rest of the truck stop
as far as
because
I know, it was just called the truck stop. It was just a
all right,
little.
because I
It was
might
a
have been
little
there.
cafe. It was a little cafe in North Bryan at
Loves
Okay.
the time. Yeah, and this was when truck stops were like now now you have the big Loves and the big
Yeah.
Bucky's and all. It was different back then. It was just
Right.
like a restaurant. You walk in and everybody's smoking and then there's a room in the back and there's a pool tables and it's just where they'd go and eat.
Yeah.
So she would take me with her to work and they had the booths there and I would sleep. I would sleep in the booths because she worked from the graveyard shift from 12 to the next day.
yeah.
My sister also worked there. She was a
Okay.
little waitress, but uh, that's how I grew up. And I remember that there was an old jukebox there, and they'd come in and they play the songs, and all those songs just every time I hear them, a lot of it just takes me back to those days. Like I said, George Jones and Loretta Lynn and all the greats. They come in, they play that music, and every time it's just that nostalgic. There's nostalgia
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes we'll walk in somewhere, and I'll be like, man, a lot of people don't like the way that things smell like that, like an old pool hall. But for
mhm,
me, those are places that I grew up. So
yeah,
when I'm like, man, that reminds me of this,
yeah. Cool.
Oh
and
yeah.
That's badass.
so
Pretty
I pay homage to those because those are the parts of my life that like today are very important to me because they tie in the music that I play. And back then I never said, well, there's a lot of musicians out there that are like, I've been playing since I was 5 years old. I've been playing since I was three, two, one, whatever.
All right.
But I didn't. My dad was a musician.
And your
My father,
brothers too, I think, right?
brothers too. My brothers were musicians, but I never had the desire to. I want to. I would just mess around and go home and try to do a little bit. But I actually my first instrument was the drums.
Yeah.
I taught myself to play the drums. Um, uh, and another thing, I love my mom. She was just I was the baby, so she would just let me do
Oh my
whatever.
goodness.
So, but
Cool.
I bought the drums, and drums they don't have a volume. So, and I lived in a very small home. Though my whole house was maybe 4 rooms total.
Okay.
4 bedrooms, 4 rooms,
Yeah.
uh, and we my room was kind of in the back, and I set up my drums, and I had a little stereo, and I'd play Kiss, Kansas, Journey, and I would just play along with the music, and my mom would never complain about it. She was like, yeah, I just so I learned it, that way. Um, but she was very supportive of what I did, and then I started liking music. I said, I like, but I never wanted to play. And I had a rock band, and
Okay.
everybody laughs because they're like, "What's the name of your rock band?" A lot of people don't know this, but it was called POW. It was
Okay.
Prisoners of Rock with a W, right? WROCK.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, that was the name of our band. And I was the drummer, and I remember doing a talent show. We did a talent show, and I don't have the pictures. I wish I did. I had parachute pants, and
Nice.
Oh, I used to.
Nice.
I used to have some Cavaricis back in the day.
oh, there you go, man.
You remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Jingles? You have jingles too?
And no, I was too poor to have those, man. So I was lucky to have.
Jabral was Jabral, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Following that Aggie line here. When I started doing this show, I found out there was a. Well, he really wasn't Tejano. He's more country, but he sang Tejano. Do you remember who that artist might have been?
He was more country.
Yeah. Okay.
Rick,
I'll get Rick Trevino.
No.
Do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah, yeah. I remember. So funny story. Rick Trevino and I sang in a contest together there because they'd have the contest there at remember Graham Central Station
Yeah.
Yeah.
there.
San
Yeah.
Antonio, yeah.
So they would have contests,
Okay.
and that's the first time I met Rick Trevino. We entered these contests, and
Was he
and
the
we
same age?
yeah, pretty much, yeah,
Okay.
pretty much, and we'd make it to the finals, both of us, and but we'd always lose to because it was a lot of audience participation, so it
Oh
was just
yeah.
like
Oh, never brought a
the,
bigger
the
crowd.
girls, or so we're just kind of like, but went on to be, he do his thing, man, and we're still friends. I see him all the time,
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
and so he's, he remembers those days too. So that was pretty cool that you brought that up.
He was a baseball player, right?
I don't remember. I think so.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think so. Yeah, I think I
I just
remember
know him for the
interviewing him.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he did a music video. And it had uh, God, what was that name of the statue? The brass one that the fish used to have to polish. Uh,
I don't
I
remember.
can't remember it
We're not
either.
talking
Like
about
that.
Rick anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but uh, you know what? When I talked to you and your wife at Fanfare. Uh, I didn't realize that there was Tejano music in Bryan's College Station. You
Oh
know,
yeah, man.
yeah, I never
Right.
knew that. When I was there, I didn't even know there was a
Well,
thing as
well,
Tejano.
so a lot of people kind of misconstrue there. Like
Yeah,
Bryan, you said you're from Bryan College Station. Well, if you're
yeah,
from Bryan, you're from Bryan.
it's two separate.
Bryan is College Station is College
Right.
Station. Bryan is but Bryan, there's probably not. Maybe later on there was some places to play in College Station, but not like Bryan. Bryan,
Yeah,
had the Lulak Ballroom, the Fiesta. They had
Oh wow.
Emiliano's, and all these were just all the bands would come there. You had Selena, you had
Oh
Emilio,
cool.
Bam. So all the bands would go to Brian, and that's where they had all the Tejanos.
I
From the
always
very
thought Brian and College Station were the same thing.
Oh
Guess
no,
not.
no,
no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no, it's two
Yeah,
different.
College Station's dead when students aren't there.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
so
two different.
it's 7:42. What are you gonna say?
Okay. Wait, gosh, I got so much. Okay, you know what?
You know,
Okay, I
tell
gotta
me,
show some
right?
footage. I gotta show some
Yeah,
footage
just show the footage.
of Fanfare. Okay. All right. This is the. I mean, I shot footage of him playing the sax. I got footage of him singing Tejano, and this is footage of you with country. And I think I have your Tejano. The video clip is the Tejano. Okay, but I really like this. Okay. I gotta apologize for the audio because I have to always. My camera
Play the
sucks
video.
at picking
Play
up
the
audio.
video.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the video. Okay.
Jesus.
All right. Here we go. Let's see if I can.
You got a great distinctive voice, man.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. It was like so you saw me look at my watch, because for me, stage etiquette is very important, especially when we're playing with other
Oh yeah.
bands, because your time has to be. And I hate going over, because I've had that happen to me. Because it's like, we're sort of waiting, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do one more song," and they're already over like 3 songs, and by the time you get on, you're only able to do half your set because you don't want to bleed into everybody else's.
All right.
So a lot of people like, why is he looking at his watch?
Yeah, they don't have a clock on.
You gotta be
on
respectful.
stage. On stage, they don't have one.
No, they don't have some. They need to. That'd be good, because
Yeah.
that way kind of keeps everybody
Yeah.
moving. Because sometimes, and sometimes people don't do it on purpose. They go into a song, they're like, "Oh shoot," it's just but it happens. But I try to keep on time with all that. So
I remember when Shelly's last performance at Fanfare a couple years ago. I think it was a younger I think it was Lost Boys. I think is that the name of it? It's like a bunch of guys. Some of them
yeah,
were
yeah,
with like that. They performed. They took a long time setting up, and so
yeah,
they sang like 3 or 4 songs, and then it was Shelly's time. And but the guys, so they're saying wrap it up, and like that. And they were keep on going. And the stage crew goes pop like that. You're
yeah,
out of here like that. He said, "We got set. No, we got Shelly coming. You get your
yeah,
butt out of here or
yeah,
something like
man,
that.
for sure.
You
You
gotta
have
be
to,
That's
respectful."
horrible, man. Like,
yeah,
It was awesome.
yeah,
Like I enjoyed it.
GTFO, man. Like,
I
really.
said, you don't cut Shelly like that.
yeah. Shelly's good people, man. I met
Oh yeah,
Shelly many moons ago, and we've been friends forever. And she's one of a kind. I tell you that.
Yeah,
She's very stern in what she does, but
it
that's
is.
that's good. That's a good thing. But
yeah,
shout out to everybody out there that was listening, and the band, the band that I have is just phenomenal. These
yeah. You
guys are
saw the
just
crowd there. I did a
yeah,
twist around there like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's huge.
yeah. These
So,
guys, yeah. So, but
you're
yeah,
the,
so it's always a good time. You get on stage and sometimes we forget the time, but we just like to have fun. And try to project what we're feeling. Like me as a vocalist, I try to project my feelings out through the microphone so people can actually feel the song, and rather than just dancing around stage and doing all kinds of crazy shit stuff.
Okay.
So
All right, we're down to
hit the
last.
chat?
This is an hour show, and I'm going down to get that little nugget right there. Okay, Nima, I'm gonna let you decide. You want the nugget now, before the chat, or after the chat?
If the nugget is part of the Tejano show, then that's fine. But if
Yes.
it has nothing to do
Okay.
with it, okay, then
Yes.
let's hit
Yes.
it.
Okay. I'm about to show it to you. I hopefully everybody could read it. All right. But Nemo, why don't you read this? Okay. Let me set it up for you. It's a fanfare, and it's a picture of Sonny playing, and then
Uh-oh.
there was a fan that wrote something,
Oh,
and then
goodness.
Sonny decided to talk some shit, in my opinion. Okay, so Art, I'm not
On,
sure if you. I don't
on
know if you read
stage?
all this. No, on this. You'll see it. I'll show
On
it
the
to you. Okay.
post? Okay.
All right. Okay. Do
Oh,
you see it?
goodness.
Can you read it,
It
Nemo?
says, you look amazing, friend. Keep it up. You sounded like art. I had to do a double check. Sonny said, I used to be his vocal coach. It's actually the other way around.
Oh, when I found that, I was going, what a shit bag. I
Well,
said,
yeah,
what?
you know, you know,
how
you
does
know,
he think? Okay,
Did
go.
did he say do the do re mi fa sol la ti do? What did he coach?
How does he think you're his vocal coach?
And he sounds nothing like you, bro.
Of
He
course
sounds
yeah,
nothing
not.
like you. You have such a distinctive voice. It's so I don't know whether you came up with that.
and I think because Son and I used to be really good friends. Of course, we played for many years,
Yeah.
and when everybody was Grupo Vida, and I talked to the guys all the time, and when everybody left, nobody said anything bad. Nobody had any thing bad, negative to say about anybody. He said, "Hey, you know what, you're doing your thing." When they would ask me about Sonny, I'd say he's doing his own thing, man. And
Yeah.
and but it became I don't know, man. I don't know where things changed with him, and now it's like that little comment to me being me. Had someone said, "Hey, man, I saw your show and you sounded like." Uh,
Sonny.
somebody else, Sonny.
All right.
My response, oh, hey, man, appreciate that. Hey, he's a good artist, man. That's awesome. We're good
Yeah.
friends. We learned a lot from each other.
I'm
That's
flattered or
Yeah.
all.
something
Yeah.
like that,
I'm
Yeah.
flattered,
or something like
but
that.
not trying to take credit. But that's the second time I've heard it.
Oh,
He
he's
said it,
done it more.
he said it
Oh.
on a podcast with AC. Remember AC Cruz?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
AC Cruz had
he passed away.
yeah, yeah. So he had a podcast and with me, and he said, "Hey, Sonny had this to say about you," and he actually played it for me live about that he used to be my vocal coach, and I was like, for me, this maybe he did and this goes with everybody, the whole band. We all help each other out, whether it
Right.
was enunciation, whether it's hey man, try this, let's try this. But as far as being a vocal coach to me, I only had one vocal coach, and that's the good man above. He's the one that gave me this voice. My dad, I didn't. My dad was singing. I didn't learn. My dad didn't teach me how to sing. My brothers, they were vocalists. They didn't
Yeah.
teach me how to sing. This is just a natural ability, and I'm not trying to brag or trying to
Yeah.
be.
No, it's a natural
But
talent.
this
Yeah.
is a natural ability to be able to sing. I was singing before I came into Grupo Vida, and to be able just to say that, I just think that's just this. You know, I
Yeah.
I was
You
just
know,
kind of like,
and you're the lead singer of the group.
sure,
Where does he
sure.
get it? You know what? I'm a math teacher. I teach college. Okay, that's sort of like saying one of my students corrected me because I, I added two numbers wrong, like that, and so now he can say, "Oh, I was his math tutor. I was his
Yeah,
math
yeah,
teacher."
sure.
I said, if he said, "Oh, you said that word a little bit off. This is how you pronounce it correctly,"
Sure.
and get
Hey,
that stretch that says, "I'm your vocal coach."
Hey, do you
yeah.
think social media now is would have made a difference if it was back then? Whenever y'all split apart, you think y'all would have been viral or been, you know how social media can get.
It might have, we during the Dixie Chicks thing, that would have been awesome because
Yeah.
it was a lot of publicity.
Yeah,
Nobody,
Oh
not a
yeah.
Tejano band has never opened up for anything as large as the Dixie Chicks were,
yeah,
even
for
now.
sure. It was big news. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it would have been, the split up would have been, it would have been, of course, it would have gone viral as far as in our community.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but as far as like back to what we were talking about, my wife, she's a lot smarter than me as far as like just intellectually,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
things like that, like being able to grammar wise, she's like,
Okay.
especially like with Spanish. And whenever she'll go with me, every time she'll go with me to record, I'm like, oh God, because I know I'm gonna get the enunciation. You need to say this right. You're not saying this right.
Orlando.
You're
All
not,
right.
but she,
I got same
but she,
issues.
but she's not my vocal coach. You
Right.
know, she's not. We didn't sit down for hours and go la 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 la
Yeah,
la la
yeah,
la
yeah,
la.
yeah,
Do
Just
your exercises.
there's a
Yeah.
yeah,
difference, and I
yeah.
Oh
think
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't understand. I,
Where
I
that
was
came
just
from.
flabbergasted. I was like, uh, because I'd heard it before, and I was just kind of
Yeah.
laughed it off. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
to be able
twice.
for the laughing emoji, like, and then to add to it, to add to the stab is like, yeah, you got to. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
You sound like me.
Yeah, yeah. So like, no, he
Yeah.
does.
His
So
ego
Whatever.
needs to get checked, and
sure.
I hope people pass this around because
Sure, and it's and a lot of people have commented,
yeah.
and he has his loyal followings, and that's to be
Yeah, no, he
expected. But
does.
but
Yeah.
I, one of his followers actually came and said something because they didn't see the post. I guess they just thought that I was just putting stuff out.
And they'll try to bait you too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
You gotta
they
be
thought I was
careful
just
with that.
putting just because I wanted to say it. And then I sent them a video, a snapshot with the post, and they didn't say anything. But
Yeah.
it's like I don't understand that. I don't understand people that why I have to be like that. I don't understand why some artists have to be um, better than or think they're better
Ego
than
trip.
ego trips.
Yeah.
Um, I but it's like I guess because I grew up in a humble environment. I grew up just singing with just being humble and just taking it as it comes, and I and to be able to. So when I first started coming to San Antonio to sing, I
Yeah.
moved to San Antonio. I lived in my car for months. I was
Yeah.
homeless
Oh,
because I
wow.
wanted to do music, and I would go to the bands. This was during like Fanfare or maybe before, maybe it wasn't Fanfare, maybe it was Fiesta. I don't remember, but downtown San
Yeah.
Antonio, bunch of bands. And I would go to him and I'd say, "Hey man, my name is Art Tigerina," or my name is so before my name. So my name didn't change till I started playing. It's crazy. My name is Arthur. Everybody call me Arthur.
Yeah.
So and it just kind of one of those things evolved. But I'm from Bryan, and I'm trying to get a band, and they were like, they'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, man," just kind of blow me off. And I was just like, and it's just a lot, it's just I had to eat that, crow, and be like, okay, well, it's just
Do you
for me.
remember who? You want to tag him?
Uh, be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. I remember one of them was the one of the members from Grupo Excelencia. Do
Oh
you know who?
wow.
Really?
Where are they at now? Huh?
Yeah. Well, they
And I
actually
remember,
performed at this.
Yeah, but
Was
they're not consistent
and
though.
this was
oh
back
yeah.
in those
It's
days,
bringing
and
back.
and they was just kind of like blew me off. But that was the norm for bands back then. A lot of those guys, they're just like ego, just like a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
those bands, they were like, oh,
Yes.
we're this is who we are because we're gonna say it because Tejano was a lot, was very big in
Popular
there,
in
so
the
it was very
'90s.
popular. So
Record
at that
labels are throwing money at you
sure.
and stuff like
So at
that.
that time, they were like, "Oh, we're big stars, man. We don't have to talk to you, the peons." You know, so and it's just to be expected. You
You
know,
don't have the long hair like we do.
yeah, you don't have the long, beautiful locks that we do, flashy clothes. And
Well,
the crazy thing is that I told my wife, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on my deals that say, if you're gonna hire us, don't expect pyro and flashing and big screens and
a
shiny
booty
pants,
in your
yeah,
face,
shiny pants and shiny clothes, and don't
stars on
expect,
your ass.
yeah, exactly. Don't I mean we're just gonna play music and
Yeah, yeah. You're
we're gonna
musicians. You're here
yeah,
to.
we're musicians. We're gonna do
Oh,
music,
yeah.
and so, but
Yeah,
things like that come and
it's
go,
worked
man.
out for you, man, all this time.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
just be you.
And I appreciate the fans. The fans have always been there and never faltered, man. And
Yeah,
we're still continue to grow, fan wise, um, and it's just, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have great fans that become good friends, or great friends that become better friends, and then we have our family. Our
Oh, yeah.
my family, my wife and my kids and my dogs, and then our band members. Though everybody's family, everybody's those guys are just the whatever it is, the drop of a hat. It's like, hey, we're gonna do this show. You guys down to do it? It does, especially doing the country stuff, jukebox preachers. We're still trying to make that movement. You're trying to get in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
There's not a lot of money, and like, let's do it because we have a good product and we can do it. That being said, we did go to the Texas Country Music Association had a showdown this year, and
Yeah.
the jukebox preachers out of
Congratulations.
thousands of entries, we got down to 8, and we
oh
won
wow,
the whole grand champion. So we brought it home. So
sweet,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty.
badass. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So and that was it's one of those things you just got to kind of get in there and do it, man. And
Yeah.
whenever people kind of recognize you, quick story. I know we're running out of time, but
Oh, no. Nemo
so
could go. I don't care.
so,
If
so,
he's got to go, he's got to go.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
oh
here.
yeah.
um,
That's happened before, so you're good.
Okay,
we
go
have
ahead.
we
Go
have
ahead. Go ahead.
so we play. We do a lot of shows every year. So this show we did was at the Houston rodeo. I don't know if you've ever been to the Houston rodeo cook
Yeah.
off, but it's huge.
Oh, not
Oh,
the
Like,
not the
cook
cook
off.
off.
the cook off is huge. There's like thousands and thousands of tents. There's hundreds of thousands of people out there, and of course, every tent is full. Sometimes most of them have music.
Yeah.
When we played out, it was great. The capacity was maybe 300 some plus, but we had way over that. And I'm not going to name because I don't want to get in trouble with the fire marshal. But anyway, but it was a blast. So at the last night, getting in and out was kind of a pain in the butt. So
Yeah.
I kind of left early, and I was walking back to get our van, and I was walking next to this artist. He had a guitar and long hair and a beard and sunglasses on or whatever. We just started talking, some white dude, and we were like, I was like, hey man, I said, yeah. He told me his name, and then he goes, I said, yeah, I have a country band called Jukebox Preachers, and he goes, oh, that's a cool name, man. I really dig that name. And I said, I also have a Tejano band. He goes, really? He goes, yeah. So we started talking. He goes, you ever heard of that the art I can't pronounce his last name. I can't pronounce his last
Tequila.
name.
That is too cool,
He
man.
was like, you ever
That is
heard? I
too
said,
cool.
who? He said, Artiga, I can't remember, Tiger something. I said, Tigerina? He goes, yeah, that's him. I said, that's me. And he looked at it because I didn't have the beard, right?
Yeah.
The
That's
guy,
my
and
That's
brother.
my
That's my
brother.
brother.
he was just like, dude, he goes, you are, he just gave great compliments. And we took a
That
picture, we
is
exchanged
too
numbers,
cool,
and
bro.
just somebody that I never met, is another artist in a
Yeah.
different genre.
Yeah.
And you just never know, man. So it's always good just to kind of, and this is just a little insight for future the artists that want to just play music. And the bottom
Yeah.
line is just be humble, and humbleness, humility will get you. You might not be a big star ever, but you'll be respected.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's more to me than anything. It's like I'd rather people say, yeah, he's a good whatever entertainer or whatever. But the most mainly in anything, he's humble and he's down to earth and he's real, and that's
Yeah.
what I
Good
want
person.
people to
Good
remember about.
person. Yeah. Good for
Sure.
you.
All right. Well, okay. I know it's our. We got to hit the chat. Okay. So let's see.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ramiro and
I'm so,
and Eric has been burning it up.
I'm
They
sorry.
didn't. They didn't like
Hopefully,
that.
at the end,
They
they're
didn't.
gonna
They didn't.
give
Yeah.
Sonny some shit over there. Okay.
They didn't like this.
Luis, saludos to everyone. All right, Ramiro. Is Ramiro been on the text
No.
recording? Saludo. Welcome to Tejano Talk.
Amarillo, Texas in
Saludos,
the house.
Amarillo, Texas in the house. My sister's from used to live there. Let's see. Saludos, Oraldo. Glad you're back. Thank you, Luis. I had kidney stones last week. I had to cancel. Erica, nice to see you.
Erica, and I've known Erica for many years.
Oh,
She's yeah, she many years back when Groupo Vida started.
okay.
So yeah,
Well,
many
welcome
years.
to Tejano
Well,
Talk.
thank you for chiming in, Erica.
Yeah, and come back. We got other shows too. Let's see. Luis says, "What's up, Art?" Okay. Ellie's. I can't remember. I always butcher up names and say, "Hello, Art. Been
At
a
least
fan since Groupo Vida back in the days in the '90s."
who hasn't?
Uh,
Really?
okay. Ramiro said, I've seen group. I don't have glasses on, so
I've seen
my
Groupo
screen.
Vida in San
Go ahead.
Angelo, Texas, 2001. Art was very humble. I still have a dollar bill he signed for me.
Oh,
Nice.
wow, that's
Uh,
awesome, man.
Does
okay.
it have any white powder substance on
Hey,
All right.
back in those days, no, yeah,
Okay.
it was
We'll
probably
say
masa
no.
trigo. It was probably masa trigo or something like
it?
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. What's up, R. Gilbert from Lubbock?
Lubbock,
Okay.
Texas. We'll be in Lubbock, Texas. August what? August 1st. We'll be in Lubbock, Texas. So
There
make
you
sure you come
go.
out.
All
It's
right.
be good. Good show.
Okay. I got married in Lubbock. Lubbock
Well,
is
Not,
Lu-
not
Lubbock
important.
is boring. I'm sorry. It's gonna be awesome when the art's being there, but is there a lot of Tejano in Lubbock? I'm
yeah,
sorry, Gilbert, but
they have a mainstream radio station. There's a lot of Tejano music that goes on
okay.
there all the time, and so yeah, we play. We used to do West Texas out in Lubbock quite a bit
Yeah.
back in the day. So
Okay.
it's just so far, It's just like whoa.
Oh
My wife's
yeah.
from Lubbock, so every time we try to go back out there, we're like, oh my god, it's so far.
I got
what,
married there in
what
2008, and it was dry.
not
There
important.
was no liquor in
What,
the city of
how long
Lubbock
of a drive is it for you?
outside.
2 hours, 8 hours?
7 hours maybe,
Uh,
6,
There's
7,
all
yeah,
flatland too, right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Erica
windy.
says, beard or no beard? His voice is heavenly. Okay. Yeah. OG. All right. Romero said, yes, I love CDs. I still have a lot of Tejano
There
music
you
on
go. There's a fan
cassette.
of CDs.
There you go. Yeah. So
Okay. We were young. Yes, we were all young.
That's a good song.
Oh,
yeah.
that's the name of the song? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say it.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Groupo Vida was one of the best show bands of all time. It was one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, we had fun. I think we did a lot of stuff that just it wasn't like very outlandish, but it was just fun. And I think at that time was just fun.
Yeah. If y'all came to town, you knew it was going to be a
Oh
good
yeah.
party, good
I
dance, good
mean,
show.
you guys came in the right time in the '90s.
Sure,
It
sure,
was
yeah,
it's the heyday. Romero said Cubo. Oh, I always say that wrong. Like,
Cuba.
I said Cubo. I said Cubo, and for like the first 6 months of the show,
Yeah,
uh,
on this guy actually, right?
yeah, Lawrence is a good friend of mine, and we have
Yeah.
a project we're working together, and he always got, God, buddy, you keep butchering but the name of the show. Okay, hey Lawrence, Cubo fellows, stay awesome.
It's
All right.
Cuba.
Cuba.
Did I say it wrong again? Did I say it wrong again?
Not
Cubo,
important.
Cubo,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Cubo. Dang gummit. See, my Spanish sucks. Art, your first language wasn't Spanish, was it? Is it English?
No, it was English. Yeah,
Okay.
I learned my wife says I still don't know how to speak Spanish, but I think I can carry conversation pretty decent. But it was
Yeah.
because where I grew up. My parents had a couple of houses that they would rent to the guys that would come from Mexico,
Yeah.
that come to work. So during the summertime, whatever, those were my company guys from
Okay.
Mexico, and I just hang out with them. We talk, or they teach me English. Teach them bad words, and whatever.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I get shit from Nemo all the time about my Spanish. Oh heck, I know I suck at Spanish. I said, Art, don't need a hype man. You can't compete
When
they-
you don't compare.
when you don't compare. That's true. All right. Let's
We need to
see.
interview Erica.
That's right.
Have her on
Okay.
here.
Been at several art shows, both ATB and Jukebox Preachers, and they are both awesome. Hey, when you're at Southern Junction, it's gonna be
RTB.
ATB.
okay, not a jukebox.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we will do some
little
some
country.
country music. Yeah, we'll do some country music. We'll
Okay,
do some
cool.
probably one of our songs that's doing very good with Jukebox Preachers is called C25, and that's another song that we wrote. So
Okay.
so
So not
yeah.
this Friday. It's next Friday, the
Mhm.
25th.
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
and that's in Irving, right? Is
Mhm.
it Irving? Okay.
Off
All right.
Irving Boulevard, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna try to. I've never been there, but this is the best reason to go there.
There you
See,
go,
all right.
man. It's gonna be a
All right.
blast. I
Okay,
think it's
Erica's.
Grupo Presión. I think Grupo Presión is going to be playing also. So
They're
Oh,
talented.
really?
They're
they're
talented.
really
Yeah,
good.
they're
Yeah,
local.
really good
He's
guys,
been
man. So
around for a long time.
Okay,
They're
awesome.
real tight, man. They're real tight.
yeah, we played with them, and they have a cool style. You know, we played with them somewhere, and then they bust out of some like crazy
Rock,
metal. We're like,
rock,
whoa,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
I think the original, and then I want to have them on the show. They were original. I think they were rockers like you.
okay,
You know, they were
yeah,
rockers.
yeah, yeah.
So they bring in like they'll start off the show with like Guns N' Roses or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty cool.
Wait, Izzy's not a dancer for them, is
Izzy
he?
is a dancer for
Oh,
them.
Izzy is a dancer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uh,
So
let's
in
see.
my studios, he does a lot of videos for a lot of artists, man. So
Oh, cool, yeah,
yeah,
man. I got some cool ideas. You know, with for my videos and
Okay.
to do them. You know,
he
so
can make it
yeah,
happen.
He'll give
definitely,
you a
yeah,
good price.
yeah, that'd be good.
He can make it
That's
happen.
always a
All right.
good deal. Good price is always good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I can't read all of these.
Okay, let's just go. I mean, we pretty much got the. Listen,
Okay.
well, last question. Last question. Last question. So you've
Wait.
been on a couple of these podcasts.
Go ahead.
Which one's your favorite?
Right here, bro. Of course.
That's what
All
I'm talking
right. All
about.
right. That's what we're talking
That's what I'm
about.
talking about right there.
All right. You know what? That's a good way to end. Sorry for
Yeah,
everybody if I didn't get to
let's
you.
plug Jukebox Creatures and
Oh
ATV.
yeah. Oh
Let's
yeah.
go.
Tell her
Yeah,
to.
sure. Yeah. So don't forget to check out Jukebox Preachers. You can find our stuff on Spotify, iTunes. We probably have about 4 songs on there right now, but we're working on getting some new stuff out there. The majority of it, of course, is original music. It's good country music. And the same guys that play in the band, I'll switch out a couple of guys here and there. But when you come see us live, you're gonna get some good, authentic, real stuff. Not no fake trying to be country singing guys. You know what I'm saying? Those
Yeah.
are first love. And I guarantee you that when you leave there, you're gonna be like, this is a really, really good show. It's very authentic, and there's nothing fake about our music and our country stuff because that was what I started singing. It's from my roots.
Yeah.
Our Tigerina band, of course. What can I say? These guys are phenomenal, same musicians, and you're gonna get good Tejano music with some country music. Look up our stuff. We have a brand new song. Our latest song is entitled "Y voy a ser feliz." We've got some new music. Matter of fact, I was supposed to go finish recording vocals. I'm not going to take my wife though this time because she tries to connect.
Just how to
But
Oh, you
pronounce
might
it.
as well take her because she's
yeah, might
gonna
as well. Yeah, but
record it. It says you got to go back. You screwed up that word.
yeah, I
Because
should.
I'm your vocal coach.
That's right. That's right. So, but
Wait till
yeah,
Sonny hears that.
right. Might get mad.
I don't care. I don't like Sunny.
So,
I have an issue with Sunny back
okay.
that I
Yeah.
talk about all the time. But you know what? If I go to Southern Junction, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you.
So do you do
Okay.
TikTok and all your social media?
Mostly on Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram.
Are you a
TikTok.
TikToker? TikTok.
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to get more into that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Me
get more
too.
into stuff. But there, I guess the final words is just, hey man, just appreciate everybody out there who makes this happen because we can make it. We can't do it ourselves. Myself, I can't do it without my band, my wife. The management, everybody that's part of this team, our friends that come out and support, the fans that come out, you guys, all the
Thank you.
all the all the outlets that we can't, and I think it's a beautiful thing when everybody can get together and try to strive for similar goals, but in all it's the same goal is just try to do better, for what we can, help each other. And if that was, if we could just kind of cut out all the crap and the egotistical stuff, I think we'd be all right. So
And
and I
we
think
need that. We need that. There's too many people who live on that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure,
Tejanos.
man.
and
Tejanos helping Tejanos.
Yeah,
we need to have you back on, man, because it's our
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still had
There's
some
just
more
so much more stuff,
questions, and
and
I wanted to show you
everything.
more video footage and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
But we appreciate you. We
Yeah.
yeah,
really
man,
do,
no
man.
problem, man.
You've been around the business for a good long time, so
Been around. I've been doing it for a long time, brother.
oh yeah.
appreciate you, man.
Good times, bad times, hard times, easy times, but we're still
Yeah.
here, man. And the bottom line is just it's what keeps us going. And I forgot to mention, thank God above because without Him, it's just we get sometimes we tend to forget about that. There's a song that I sing. I know we're running out of time. We ran out of time, but we're getting over.
Oh, you
But
can sing it. It doesn't matter.
there's a song that I sing, and I always point it out because it's by a country artist. His name is Larry Fleet, and the name of the song is called "Where I Find God," and it's it's I guess it's very special to me because it's like a lot of people believe that you have to. I'm not trying to get religious or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a lot of people believe that you have to be
Preach it.
to
Preach.
attend church or you have to be part of this to do to be blessed. But for me, this song hits home because it's like wherever you are, you can be. The chorus it says the chorus goes from a bar stool to that heaven room. A Sunday morning in a church pew, in a deer stand or a hayfield,
Mhm.
interstate back to Nashville, Chevrolet with the windows down, me and him just riding around talking.
That's
I
true.
do that a lot. That's where I find God. So
Very
it's
nice. That's so
wherever you're
true.
at.
I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna bring my camera. All
Yeah,
right.
come on, man.
Yeah. Because I
Get
never get to
better,
stay for a
better
whole
footage.
set.
Get better footage.
I've got. You know what? I'm gonna have better footage. Okay.
Thank
Because
you.
I have a new way of shooting footage, but
You do a
you'll.
disservice to him.
I'm gonna try to be there, but I can't make promises. But if I do, I know
So
I'm gonna enjoy myself.
April
All right.
25th, Friday, Southern Junction,
Yes.
Artejina.
Okay. It's
so
Friday night, and you're gonna be in Lubbock in August, right? I think that's what we said.
um, August.
Also, and I'm sure you
Yeah,
yeah, you got over 100 bookings in this tour this past for this year,
we stay
100
really busy,
plus.
and we were trying to slow down, but it's
Yeah.
it's a blessing when we take it while we can
Yeah,
because
that's right.
we're only here for a
Oh,
little while. We take it while we can. So
by the way, did you thank your wife? You're thanking everybody else, but I don't remember hearing you say thank.
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, of
wow.
course, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, I'm trying to
Okay.
get you out of
Wow.
the doghouse if you
All
didn't
right.
say it. I
Oh,
I
yeah,
said
no,
you forgot to thank me,
He's,
like that.
I was I
All
was
right.
I was due, man, because like
he,
I said,
writes, he writes songs for her. I think she's okay. Just
Yeah,
calm down.
she,
every
so
girl
yeah,
likes to hear some praise.
there's some songs that she'll help me. I'll get stuck on a word or whatever, and she'll kind of implement a word or help me out, and then she wants credit for the whole song. I'm
Oh
like, wait a
yeah.
minute.
Oh yeah. Oh, smart
Oh
lady
yeah.
right there. Smart
Okay,
lady
we can
right there.
keep going on, but
Yeah, I know. I know. I
I
know. We can. All right.
okay.
But,
All
Yeah,
right.
but
You
yeah,
all
come
right.
on out, man. Let's have a couple of drinks, some coffee or whatever.
all right.
Like
All
I've
right.
kind of laid off the hard stuff,
Oh,
Oh, me
see.
too.
a little bit,
I,
you know.
I got
But,
kidney stones. I have to drink a beer so I can pee that sucker out. All right, hey, and maybe Nemo will show up. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
see you guys, man. For
All
sure.
right.
That'd be cool.
You're gonna help us close. I'm
Uh,
your host, Oraldo, for It's Tejano Time,
And I'm Nemo with Tejano USA.
and
And I'm Artejina from the Artejina Band and the Jukebox Preachers. Peace and
and
love,
you
everybody.
and you've been listening and watching Tejano Talk. Great
Thanks.
show. Okay,
Thank you.
and I'm gonna look forward to seeing you again and chatting.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. End broadcast.